everyone, welcome to the new video. So I got this comment from Suraja that can you please explain how to do multi setup for different environments like prod, dev, staging, and then how to deploy to different environments in Jenkins. So this is interesting topic. Questions can be asked on this topic. So I thought of picking up this question. So yeah, let's go. Starting anything, we should understand what is dev environment, then what is um, staging or staging environment, then what is production environment. So dev environment is when a developer makes they do developments, and then the environment on which um, they test their code. So that is basically a testing environment for developers where they are testing the features they are incorporating into the code or in their application. So that is basically a test environment. That is why it is called dev environment. Then we have staging environment. Staging environment is when the development part is done. Now the part is of QA testing, or you can say UAT also. That is kind of a testing environment where the development part is done, and now we are integrating things and we are doing the quality assurance testing for that code, that whatever the modifications are being done, are they compliant, are they quality assured. So we do all that testing in staging environment. Then comes the production environment, which is the main environment where customers, so our code go live in this environment. So this is the production environment. Now when we talk about that, how we will do the setup, or how we will configure uh, multi-environment deployment in Jenkins. So first of all, what things can be kept in mind, that for each environment, separately credentials should be kept in Jenkins. So there is credential um, credential service which is present in Jenkins. There you can store the credentials of the particular environment, and you can call that in your pipeline. Now, when we create a pipeline, so either first approach is create separate pipeline for each environment. That is the first approach. The second approach is create parameterized um, pipeline. So basically, you will be given choice, and then before running the pipeline, the user has to select that which environment they want to select for the deployment. And in your pipeline you will make a if condition, that if environment is prod, then this should be followed, and environment is dev, then this should be followed. So create a parameterized pipeline. So this is how, when we write a pipeline, Jenkins pipeline, before starting the stages part, we define the parameters. So this is the most, creating the parameterized pipeline is the most recommended way, instead of creating different pipeline for each environment. So you give a choice, that environment will be a choice, and in choices we will give dev, stage, and prod. Description will be to select environment while deploying. So before running the pipeline, whenever our user run a pipeline, they will have to choose the option that they where they want to deploy. Then in stages, when at stages part, when we are deploying, we can check in a condition by putting the script. If you want to see the Jenkins syntax, I have made videos on this previously, you can go through this also once. But we have to put this check that if an environment is equal to dev, then we have to deploy URLs will be this, credentials will be fetched from the credentials of dev cred. If the environment is staging, then this, else this. And however, wherever you are deploying, either you are doing kubectl apply hyphen f, or you are deploying with helm, you have to provide that environment cluster name, or namespace name where you where you want to deploy. Or you are deploying a jar to a VM, so similarly you have to do scp command, or you have to use your scp command to place a jar on that VM. So this is how you are going to handle multi-environment setup in a parameterized pipeline. Now, when we come to production, now in production, there are many features that we have to follow. There are many, you know, gate controls which are put. What do you mean by gate controls? You cannot do the deployment on production environment like this, that you how you can do in dev or staging. There can be manual approvals which we can fit in. There can be multiple approvals, multi-user approvals. There can be like restricting the access that who can do the deployment on production. So yes, in prod, we are not going to do the deployment like this. Only users with particular access and with manual approvals of multiple users. Once it is done, we can have um, notification through email that the prod deployment is successful, or whatever is the update. But yeah, we have to control the deployment in production. It cannot happen uh, in dev or something. We can make the deployment easily. There is no such control. But in production, we have to make sure that whatever goes in production is verified, it's approved, and then it is going. So yes, you have to take in whenever the environment is prod, there will be a manual approval input too. Once that approval we get, then only we will proceed for the production deployment. So this is how we, uh, configure the multi-environment setup. Basically, the credentials are different. The flow can be different for production environment, else for some environment. Basically, some scans are made mandatory for some environment, some scans are made non-mandatory for some environment. Like what I have seen, like in dev, if the open source scan or something is failing, still we are able to do the deployment in dev environment. But this will not be true in other environment, like in QA, in staging, or in prod. If any scan is failing, then we will have to make that scan work, because that will be a risk or a vulnerability issue. So without any scans, so that all we can control in our pipeline. And these restrictions are decided first, and that's how we design the pipeline for the deployment. Yeah, so I hope the things are clear.
So that's it for today's video. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know your views in the comment section. Till then, take care. Bye.